Hello and welcome to the Java tutorial videos for Professor Charters' COP 2250 class. This is the first video in which I will be showing you Netbeans. This is an introductory video in Netbeans. When you first start up Netbeans, you'll be greeted by the start page. This start page can be disabled. You can disable it by clicking on Show on Startup here on this side. Uncheck that checkbox and go ahead and click close out the start page. When you start Netbeans, every other time you'll be greeted by your projects and your files, or however you set up your windows. I'm going to go ahead and set up my windows the way that I have it on my Netbeans. This is personal choice. It's not necessary, but I find it very useful, very efficient. So I'm going to go ahead and put the output window, I'm going to drag it and I'm going to put it on the bottom here, and I'm going to split the project and files panes, and I'm going to have them on two separate panes. Now the projects and the files relatively show the same stuff, except the projects shows all of the projects that you work on the way the Netbeans shows it, and the files one shows everything as if you would look at it through Windows Explorer. So to start off, let's go ahead and create a project. To create a project, you can click either on this button here, the new project, or you can click on File, New Project, whichever one. They both do the same. Go ahead and click on Java, depending on which Netbeans version you download, whether you download only Java or the one that brings everything else. You'll have a number of other categories. For this one, all I have is a Java, so I'm going to click on Java application, next, then I'm going to put in the project name. This project name that I'm going to be putting in is specific for Professor Charters' COP 2250 class. The naming convention that she wants you to use for her class is COP 2250, which is your class. Your session, I'm going to put U01 for demonstration, your last name, then your first name, and then assignments, and then when you create another project for your labs, assignments will be replaced with labs. The default location that it saves it to is your documents, is inside your documents. It creates a new project, it creates a Netbeans projects folder, and inside there go all your projects. You could change that if you want. Mine is right here, and as you can see, there's already a number of other projects inside there, so I'm going to leave it as that. Make sure that you also uncheck the create main class checkbox. You won't be using it. Go ahead and click finish. This will take some time. Once it finishes, you'll see that the navigator window opens up, and then the services up here also opens up. I'm going to go ahead and close out services again, and I'm going to exit out the navigator because I never use it. If you want, you can keep it open, but I'm not going to have it open. So when you start Netbeans, every time you'll see something like this. It'll save the way you have all the panes, and then it'll show up any work you've been working on. So let's go ahead now and create a new package. New packages are just like folders in the Windows Explorer, and packages can each contain different Java classes. So to create a new package, click on the source packages, right click on it, hover over new, and then click on Java package. In here, type in the package name that you want. We're going to call this Hello World. I'm going to click finish, and then in Hello World, I'm going to right click on Hello World and hover over new. We're going to be using the Java main class, which you can't see now, but you will in a moment. To get that, you can click on Other, and then in the Java categories, make sure you select Java main class in the file type. Click Next, call it Hello World, and you'll see that it goes into the Hello World package. Click Finish, and then there you will see the Hello World. This window here is where you write all of your code. Everything that you want executed will be written in this area. I'm going to go ahead though, and I'm going to change the author name to my full name. And here on this line, actually before I start with there, I also like to make sure these curly braces are on separate lines. That way I could see it in an order. I could see the start and I could see the end. Here on line 20, or maybe a different line for you if you didn't format it, line 20, this is where we're going to write our first line of code. So go ahead and write system, and then put a period. Make sure it's a capital S as well, this is very important. And then when you put a period, this is the benefit about using Netbeans, is that it shows you all of the different methods and all the different functions that you could use that relate to the system. Nano time or exit, or what we're going to use in our case, we're going to be using out. So you could either double click on it, or you could also click it and then push tab, as you'll see now. I'm also going to put another period because we still need more. And then we're going to scroll down until we find println. And then with this one, I'm going to just click it, then I'm going to push tab. And then it creates it for me. Fills it out. In between the parentheses, you're going to click on these double quotes. And with Netbeans, it'll automatically put 2 double quotes, and then it'll allow you to type in between the 2. And then in between those double quotes, we're going to type hello, world, exclamation mark. And then this is what's going to be printed out. That's what's going to be printed out here. When it means print line, it means that it's going to display in the output window. Not necessarily that it's going to print on a piece of paper. So now to get it to display there, we're going to go ahead and click up here on run. First, we're going to compile the file. It's always good practice to compile files first whenever you make changes, just to make sure that everything works fine. And then once you see that the build has been successful, we're going to go ahead and click on run again, and then we're going to click run file. And then as you can see, it says hello world. Now let's go ahead and make another package. By doing that, we'll click here on source package, right click on it, hover over new, and then say Java package. We're going to call this one hello professor. And then we'll click finish. And in hello professor, we're going to right click on it, go to new, click on Java main class now, and then we'll call it the same, hello professor. And then here in the package, you could see that you could change whether you want it, in hello professor or hello world. We're going to leave it on hello professor. Go ahead and click finish. And then we're going to do the same. I'm going to format this the same way that I wanted to. I'm going to put my full name. And then here, again on line 20, we're going to put the system out print. Now, before you start typing, there's a good shortcut that you might want to learn, and it really will help out whenever you have to keep typing system out print line. You just put S out, O-U-T, and then you click, and then you press the tab button, and then it automatically creates a system out print line for you, and it adds the quotes as well. And in between the quotes again, we're going to type hello professor. And then again, we're going to go up here on run, click on run file, and in our output window, you'll see that it says hello professor. Now that you've seen how to create packages and how to create classes, I'm going to show you how to export this project so that we could send it for grading. Before that, I'm going to go ahead and create a new project again. I'm going to create a new project. This one will be for your labs. Again, this is for Professor Charters' class, so if you don't have to do multiple projects, you can go ahead and skip this part. I'm going to go ahead and make a new Java application. I'm going to call it the same naming convention, COP2250, session, last name, first name, and labs. COP2201, these are labs. Oh, it's telling me that there's something already there. Well, I'm not gonna deal with that now, so I'm gonna go ahead and just call it lab. Make sure that it's unchecked here, that the create main class has been unchecked. Click finish. And then you'll see that the lab has been created here. It also shows it here on your files. The files, as you can see, shows other stuff like the build XML, this manifest, but you don't see it here in the projects. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna skip making new packages and new classes for the labs, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to export and create this as a zip file so you can send it to your professor. To do that, go ahead and click on File, go to Export Project, and then click on To Zip. And then here you can select which project you want to use. We're going to go ahead and do the assignment since we already have stuff created. In the Build Zip, we're going to go ahead and browse, and I'm going to put it into any location you want. You can select location. I'm going to put it on my desktop, and I'm going to give it the same naming convention, COP2250 U01, last name, first name, and then I'm going to call this one Assignments. Now it's important that you put the .zip, because if you don't put the .zip, it's going to save it as a generic file, and you won't be able to send that to be able to be graded. It's not going to be a zip file. It's not going to be a compressed file. There is a way to change it afterwards, but it's best to just put the .zip now. So go ahead and click Save, and then once you see that it's the right location and it has the .zip, you go ahead and click Export. It then opens up the saved file, the saved zip file, and then you can see in here is my project. I open it, and there's my source folder. Here's Hello Professor with its file, and then here's Hello World with its file. Now I'm going to go ahead and do it again, but I'm going to ignore putting the .zip. I'm just going to type this as no zip. I'm going to say save, and I'm going to say export. As you can see, it didn't automatically open up Windows Explorer to show me the saved zip file. I'm going to go ahead into my desktop, and you can see here there's no zip. Now to fix that, if you didn't put the .zip, you can still fix it. You don't have to redo the process, just rename it, and at the very end you add the extension .zip, and then it automatically changes it to the zip file, and you're able to access it just like before. This concludes the introductory video for Netbeans. Remember that this video has parts that are only specific to Professor Charles' COP2250 class, but I do hope that this video helped you understand Netbeans and was able to show you how to create your package, how to create a project, and how to export it. Thank you for watching.